Level's good? I do too. Well, when the speaker starts standing still and takes deep breaths and starts pulling on their hair, it's time to begin. I first got to thank Todd. He asked me, would you do something here? And did a great help, and that's because of Todd that we're here today. And also for you. Just so you know, I'm going to speak kind of straight away within a pre-recorded, timed framework of in and out music and FX and all of that, which means if you say, can I ask you something? It's going to be hard. Later. Also, now you're all really puzzled at this. Yeah, I heard that. This is really the visual analog of what we're going to do today. And I'm going to take just a second to go, down through. Not too long, but you're going to know when we're hitting that topic, okay? This is about 55 minutes. If you're getting a call from a cell phone or the restroom, you're fine. Just go quietly and come back and join us. Let's begin. The first few don't involve people. The first few are about the land. This is Jefferson County. The yellow is indicating that we were in an area with a lot of limestone, which will become important later. This is a painting of Harper's Ferry in 1830. If you're on the Virginia side, and driving by, and you look to the right, you're going to see that image. And what it's showing is the violent nature of, there was very violent collisions between two continents, causing violent upheavals of the land, and that's a very good example of that. The Ice Age, this is, just remember, a mile-high glacier, right? Got about as far as the Susquehanna. We touch on that. That is Cornstalk, the Shawnee chief from around the 1700s in this area. And behind it is a place which was, I'll explain it, but it was a sacred feasting area where tribes came together to rekindle their tribes. The ship is us Europeans. This is us coming. And this describes the emigration from Europe to America. This guy, that's an early version of George Washington. Oh, well, it's a modeling that they're doing at Mount Vernon. And let's just say that covers a lot of ground. We the People, an extraordinary story of how 15 West Virginians within our boundaries today really saved the Constitution, really. James Rumsey, you know who he is, I hope. Reason Davis Shepard, great story there. Arguably, if you had to pick somebody, probably the most successful business person to be born here. Down here is R.J. Funkhouser. He's in competition, but he was actually born in Big Pool, Maryland. That's not a man. That's a John H. Hall's breech-loading rifle, and that symbolizes the most extraordinary, world-changing event that happened in Jefferson County. World-changing. Martin Delany. Incredible life. Never heard of him. That seems to be a story here. We'll hit on that. If you look at his accomplishments, regardless of color, he might have been the most accomplished person born in Jefferson County. This is right across from Trinity Episcopal Church around 1855, and that is Benjamin Franklin Harrison. This is on the corner of Church and German, and that is Mamie. I know because that's what it said below the daguerreotype. I believe that's the earliest known photograph of an African American in Jefferson County. And there's a girl about her age in the 18th census with a big E next to it. which means escaped. John Pendleton Kennedy, he wrote a book called Swallow Barn, which is hugely influential. And then this tradition of plantation literature morphed into something we have known as Gone with the Wind. You know John Brown, a few comments on that. I tended to hit a few points but not go deep on the Civil War. Do I hear any sighs? Okay. Logan Osborne, a key person who had to make that decision whether he supported his state or the nation, a Hamlet figure. Henrietta Berenger Lee, all I can tell you is don't mess with her. It's a great story, but something happened to her, which after this, that, and the other thing, altered the outcome of the Civil War. And you can judge for yourself. But you know how it is, one thing leads to another. And when Jubal Early burns Chambersburg to the ground because of what happened to your house, that starts altering the complexion of the war. John Trowbridge is not born here, but he was able to be in Charlestown in the summer of '65, and he soaks up that mood. Apples were the salvation after the war. All those horses and wagons compacted that soil for wheat, so it was unusable for wheat, hence apple trees. One of my favorite, Dansky Dandridge, some of you know about her, just a fabulous writer. It's impossible not to like her. You know who this guy is? Well, this is one of my favorites. He came to Charlestown because one of his closest buddies from Princeton, John Peel Bishop, he stayed with him for a month. And we are so fortunate that the woman who was with him every day was able to put it into words. And she didn't pull some of her punches. That's Lauren Hillenbrand, Seabiscuit. It was a horse at Charlestown that made her fall in love with horse racing. And behind her image are about 6 surprising and fascinating facts about people related to the racetrack. Can you hear me all right? Okay. RJ, if that's not Beetlebrow, you know. Doesn't it look a little, if you know Randy Funkhouser, can you see a little bit of Randy, but Randy's a little nicer? And I won't say any more, but I thought Clay Lashley said to me, "Where's Frank Buckles?" So I put in Frank Buckles and his wonderful daughter, Susanna.